By now, you're probably itching to see your app running on an iPhone, iPad, or iPod. In this video, we'll cover how to build an app from within Corona Simulator and then load the app onto an iOS device. We'll cover how to do this for an Android device in a separate video. Before you can put your app on a device, you must set up your system correctly. Additionally, you have to set up some things with Apple. Because Apple occasionally makes changes to their processes in subtle ways, it's not practical to cover the entire Apple setup steps in this video. Instead, refer to our comprehensive guide located on the Corona Labs website. To start, you'll need an up-to-date operating system, Xcode, and an Apple developer account. Make sure you have the latest version or previous version operating system, since Apple doesn't support building for devices on older operating systems. Make sure you have the latest version of Xcode installed as well, along with the latest version of iOS SDK. Xcode can be installed for free from the App Store application located on your Mac. If you don't have one already, you'll need to sign up for an iOS developer account. The current price of the program is $99 per year, mandated and managed by Apple. Using your Apple developer account, generate and install a developer certificate on your system and register your devices with Apple. You'll also need to create an app ID for a specific app or a wildcard ID to test several apps. With those steps complete, create at least one provisioning profile. This profile contains all the above information and is used to digitally sign your app so that the operating system knows your app is legitimate. There are three types of provisioning profiles: development, iOS app development; distribution, ad hoc; distribution, app store. Development iOS app development is used during development to test on your own devices. This profile type contains extra debugging output for testing using Apple's tools. Distribution ad hoc is used to install your app on a limited number of registered devices. The ad hoc profile is often used for companies to distribute private apps to their employees. In most cases, this profile type is sufficient for testing Corona apps. Distribution app store is used for submission to the App Store. This profile cannot be used to put an app on your device for testing. It is, however, the only profile that can be uploaded to iTunes Connect for placement in the App Store. You won't use this profile for testing, but you must use it to distribute your app through the App Store. From Corona Simulator, click on File, select Build, and choose iOS. This will present you with a dialog box where you can specify a few required parameters. Application name is where you name your app. It's the name that will show up under the icon on the device. By default, this is set to the folder name that contains your project. The version is the version number that Apple uses to process upgrades. For your test builds, it's okay to leave it as 1.0. However, when you're ready to distribute your app, your version number must match the number you set in iTunes Connect. On Build For, you have two choices: Build for Device or Build for the Xcode Simulator. Building for the Xcode Simulator can be a faster way to see how your app will behave, but it's still simulated. Most Corona SDK features that can be tested on a device can be tested in the Xcode Simulator. Building for Device produces a .app file that can be installed on your device. If you build with an ad hoc or App Store distribution profile, a .zip file will also be produced. Apple allows apps for iPad only, iPhone and iPod only, and universal apps that can run on either. Pick the appropriate build type for your app. The code signing identity is where you pick the provisioning profile you want to build with. If you recently set up a new provisioning profile, you must restart the Corona Simulator for that profile to appear in the drop-down menu. The iOS SDK field will only appear in Corona daily builds when Apple has a beta OS available for testing. This allows you to test against the upcoming OS. The Save To folder is where the .app and .zip files will be written. Do not set this to your project folder. When you're sure of all the settings, click the Build button. You must have an active internet connection while building, and you may be asked to log in before the build process begins. If so, enter the email address and password you used to register with Corona Labs. Once the build process is complete, you must copy the app to your device. First, connect the device to the computer with its charging sync cord. Then install the app using one of the following two methods, either Xcode or iTunes. Launch Xcode, then open the organizer, which can be found under the menu item Window, Organizer. Under the Devices header in the left column, look for the device name. It should have a green indicator beside it. If the indicator is not green, power the device off and on again to establish a proper connection. Select the Applications option for the device. Expand the device menu if necessary. Next, drag the .app file that was generated by Corona into the main frame. Alternatively, click on the Add button at the bottom of the window and select the .app file. Assuming there are no provisioning or certificate errors, the app should install on the device. When installing your app using iTunes, ensure that iTunes is open. Select File, Add to Library, or Command O, and navigate to the .app file that was generated by Corona. Alternatively, drag the file over the iTunes dock icon and release. The view should change to the device's info screen and show all installed apps. Confirm that the app is listed in the Apps menu on the left. Sync the device and the app should install. Note that iTunes can be particular about app versions. If you repeatedly test new versions of your app, you should remove the previous version from the device before installing the new version. This will ensure that the most current version is installed. And that's a look at how to build your app for iOS and load it on your device using Corona SDK. Learn more about working with Corona SDK at www.coronalabs.com/university.